In this video, I'm going to show you how to save anything on the internet in a manner that is acceptable for your mortgage so that you can send it to your loan officer or your loan processor. There may be times when your processor asks for you to send something like a bank transaction history or an apartment rental history or credit card payment information, things that won't be on an official statement but are visible on that website. So let's rewind a little bit and think about a time when perhaps you went to the local bank and you needed to get your statement or your transactions printed out. What that bank did is they stamped the document, so that way they are authenticating the legitimacy of the information. Now, we're on the internet. We can't send a web page to our bank, but what we can do is we can download these documents in a way that's almost like a digital equivalent of getting a stamp from your bank. And it's really important that when we're downloading info off the internet that we save it in this digital format so that everything we have is authenticated, just like the bank stamp. And so let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. I have a couple websites right here that we're going to look at. The first one is going to be the Bank of America website. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and just pick one of their web pages for a credit card. Let's pretend we're looking at a credit card balance or we're looking at my bank account and I need to print what I visibly see here and send it to my processor. Now, when I say print, I don't actually mean print it on your printer and then scan it and then take a picture of it. Please don't do that. Please just do this digitally. It'll be easier for everybody. All you have to do is click your right mouse button, right click, then click on print. Instead of actually sending this to a printer, just go to your destination and click on Save as PDF. That way you can just download the file and then email it over to your processor. It is a lot less work for you than physically printing. Now here's the most important thing. Go to More Settings and make sure Headers and Footers is turned on. This is the digital version of the bank stamp I was talking about. Watch this top portion up here and this bottom portion right here. If I turn this off, they disappear. If you send a document like this to your processor or your loan officer, no exceptions, it's going to be immediately rejected because you're sending a document that has no authenticity. Your headers and footers have to be turned on in order for this to be accepted for your mortgage loan. So now that we have our document with our headers and footers, we can save this and then we can send it to our processor. Occasionally, you may run into an issue where you are trying to turn on your headers and footers, but they just won't show up. Sometimes this is caused by margins that are too tight. So if you are having trouble getting them to show up, click on your margins and click on custom, and then make sure these lines are drugged down to give plenty of space from the edges. Then your headers and footers will actually have room to show up and be visible. So if you're having trouble getting them to show up and be visible, try adjusting the margins first, and then you'll be able to save that and send it to your processor. Now let's look at this other website. This is an apartment rental portal where you can log in and see your payments to your apartment. And sometimes you might actually run into websites that have certain security built in that prevents the headers and footers for showing up at all. And even doing the margins trick won't get it to appear. So there is actually even a way around this. Rather than quote unquote printing the website, what we will do is print the selected text. The website can't stop us from selecting text and printing it. So what you're going to do on your keyboard is you're going to click on Control A. Control A is the shortcut to highlight everything visible. Then just right click on the blue and then click print. So what we're actually looking at now is not necessarily the website itself, but we're just looking at the selected text that we highlighted, and then we're going to print save that. So remember, your destination should be save as PDF. Make sure your headers and footers are turned on and visible, and now you are good to go to send it to your processor. So remember, this works for all sorts of things. It works for your credit card, it works for your bank account, it works for your Klarna, it can work for your rent, it can work for your firm. Anything on the internet that you need to download that isn't, and let me reiterate this, that isn't an official statement, you can get it in this manner.